Titus Canyon parking lot, and this is the entrance to Titus Canyon, but we're not going to Titus Canyon today. Instead, we're going to Fall Canyon, and the trail for Fall Canyon is right behind the restroom. And Fall Canyon is the next canyon over to the north. Let's get a good 360. Now we're looking down west across Death Valley. Moving to the south, there's the Bonanza Mountain Range. A little bit southwest, and then there's the length of Death Valley down to the south. And here, by the way, is the opening to Titus Canyon. Closed during the winter. This is the first Sunday in January. And then back to the Fall Canyon Trailhead. Take a look at these mountains here. Grapevine Mountains. Very beautiful. And then here's the Titus Canyon wash. All the debris from Titus Canyon forms an alluvial fan. Goes all the way down to the base of Death Valley. Okay. Let's go ahead and head up the Fall Canyon Trail. Here we go. Here's a look at the Fall Canyon Trail, looking back toward Titus Canyon. And you see this huge alluvial fan up ahead. I'm going to guess that's from Fall Canyon. And here's the trail continuing on along and around. And then it looks like it's going to climb the alluvial fan. I haven't been here before, but it's a good guess. By the way, what does an alluvial fan look like? There you see one across the valley. The reason they call it a fan is it's all the debris that washes out of a canyon that fans out into the base of the valley. And these fans are the telltale signs that there's a canyon above. And each of these canyons could be explored. Boy, that's a lot of canyons to explore all the way up and down Death Valley. There are alluvial fans, and each alluvial fan represents a canyon you can explore. So, yeah, you could spend your whole life exploring these various canyons. But today we're going to explore Fall Canyon. Here we go. Well, the trail gets a little sketchy, but you're just going to the next canyon over. However, there's a cairn to help you know what is the trail and what is not the trail. Okay, and a quick 360. There we're looking east toward the Grapevine Mountains. And you can see we're in an alluvial fan right now. Look at all this debris. Very, very deep. And looking southwest down into Death Valley. There's west. And here we're looking north along this approach trail to Fall Canyon. Looks like we go up this little path right between the rocks up ahead. And I think that when we get to the top of this, we're going to see this plunging down into Fall Canyon. But we don't know for sure. We're going to find out. Fall Canyon has today about, I saw 10, 12 people entering, and there's people behind me. So there's been a lot of people in Fall Canyon. Okay. This is definitely giving an idea of a descent to the alluvial fan of Fall Canyon. And here we are. Yep. We're going down here, I believe. Yes. Right down this little slot into the alluvial fan, which is the debris from Fall Canyon. And you really need to watch out in Death Valley where you're just hiking around, because now look at the edge of this. This is a sheer cliff, and it could be a career-ending move if you fall over the edge there. And there's a lot of cliffs that all of a sudden just show up. It's the action of water over the years that has cut through the alluvial fan. This is the original fan that we're on right now. And the water keeps cutting deeper and deeper, creating these huge drop-offs. Let's see if we can get another view. Well, we'll take a quick look up at this from the bottom, but yeah, Death Valley's full of these, and anywhere in the Mojave Desert where there's an alluvial fan, you're going to see places where it just suddenly drops off, so you don't want to be lulled into a false sense of security and end up going over the edge of one of these. Okay, down we go. Down the slot. Okay, we're in the alluvial fan for Fall Canyon, and here's that slot we just came down. I don't know if you can see it with the light the way it is, but there's the cliff that I was standing on top of and saying, don't continue over the edge of this. And you can see the cliff just continues all the way down, because this alluvial fan here has cut through a previous alluvial fan, and over the years it's going to get steeper and steeper and loose rock up at the top. Anyway, yeah, here we are looking toward the Grapevine Mountains, and here is the opening of Fall Canyon. Let's go. Here we are at the mouth of Fall Canyon, and what you see is very different than Titus Canyon, perhaps many other canyons, is that you'll see a striped formation, and it gets more pronounced as we continue up. And that's banded Bonanza King Formation. That is a combination of orange and black dolomite and limestone. Spectacular as we go up the canyon. We'll see more of this. Entering into Fall Canyon now. See, let's hold still just for a second so you can see Fall Canyon without too much shaking. What I like to do in these canyons is to see the view of Death Valley from the mouth of the canyon, beautifully framed by the walls of the canyon. That's one of the best shots that you get in a canyon in Death Valley. Let's go just a little further, then look back. Okay, here we are in the canyon and turning around and looking out the opening down into Death Valley. And look at all the patterns here. What a mosaic pattern on the walls of this canyon. Okay, let's continue on up. Here's a good example of that Bonanza King banded formation. And in the slideshow on the Fall Canyon page, Las Vegas Area Trails, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Photoshop this and bring out the true colors of this formation straight ahead. Here's more of that banded Bonanza King formation. See the stripes in the rocks all around us. Another look down the canyon into Death Valley. The walls are narrowing a bit up ahead. My understanding is that there's a huge dry waterfall. You can't climb over it. About 3 miles up from the base of Fall Canyon. But there is a bypass route. However, that bypass route has an exposed area that makes it almost class 4 climbing. And it's definitely not something I do, but I will check it out just to see what it looks like. No promises that I'm going to actually go up that route. You see the canyon winds around here. How beautiful. Look at these walls. It just draws you in. You want to see what's around the next turn. And let's take a look here. See the banded formation. Wow, look at that. Well, 2 words you don't want to hear in an area like this: flash flood. Pretty cool spot in the canyon. And there's another side canyon And this looks like a good candidate. Maybe explore that one day. And here's a 360 where we are. See a lot of different color and texture in the canyon walls. And there's the route ahead up the canyon. There's side canyon, almost directly across from the last, maybe a little higher. And here's where we are, opening up a bit in the sunlight. Look at the walls of this canyon. There's something interesting at every turn. It's looking up the canyon. And now we're looking down the canyon. Notice how the water has carved these solid rock walls smoothly. Great example straight ahead of that banded Bonanza King Formation. Look at the bands on that. Just amazing. You can see the walls widened out. There are a whole lot of little holes in this one. You wonder what lives in there. And more plants since there's more light. We get into spots where more light gets in. Really interesting where plants decide to grow. And here's a little rock garden. Then a hanging plant. And up a ways, here's another. Pretty cool, right out of the cliff. Well, I think we're pretty much in what I'm going to call the hanging gardens of Fall Canyon. Lots of plants. A lot of desert holly, definitely. And creosote hanging from the solid rock. And there's a desert holly halfway up this cliff. Just above it, looks like a creosote bush. Not quite sure, but whatever it is, it's growing out of the solid rock. And here's a look down the canyon. Definitely filled with hanging plants everywhere you look. And everywhere they can grow. I guess if you grow up in a place like this, you don't have to worry too much about animals eating you because they can't get to you. This is a beautiful, colorful little narrows up ahead. Oh, this must be that dry waterfall pour over that divides the lower and the upper part of Fall Canyon. Let's see, there's supposed to be a bypass. It's a bit of a tricky bypass. A little bit further down. Let's take a look. See if we can see something that could qualify. Maybe it's this. Now that looks a little bit too challenging for this trail runner. Not seeing anything that qualifies yet. Nope. Not yet. Nothing that I would care to climb. Not going up that. still just a little bit too cliffy for me. Now this looks like a candidate. Let's check this out here. Yeah, maybe something around this area. But wow, I'm just not feeling a great desire to head up these walls. Now, maybe this, and then you get up on top, but then what do? So, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I walked right past it, but I tell you, I'm just not seeing anything that I would like to climb. So there you have it. Apart from being guided by an experienced climber, I don't think I'm going to tackle this. Yeah, maybe up this route here. But yes, I know there is a route, but yeah, maybe right up that crack. But then where would you go? Maybe along the top. Yeah. Yeah, this looks like perhaps the best candidate right here. And with the kind of signs that someone has been climbing on this. Yeah, I'm going to guess this is the route up. And I'm also going to say not today. We'll come back at some time with a climber who will guide us up this little crack. But yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, it doesn't look impossible, but wow. Then when you get up on top there, you would then be you'd be then skirting behind this cliff. So you'd be up there on the other side of these rocks. And then you would be up on top of that huge cliff. And I imagine descend the other side. Okay, so you're behind these rocks up there. Coming around, and yeah, it looks doable. So you come around up there, right in that overhang. Once you get to that point, you probably have it made, because then you descend to above this dry fall here. So that's my guess how to get up to the top of this, and therefore get from the lower part of Fall Canyon to the upper part. I'm going to save that for another trip. And there's the dry fall. Yeah, I think I figured it out. Not going to do it today, but yes, what I've described as the route, based on everything I know and what's logical, that appears to be the route. Okay. Well, here we are at the top of Lower Fall Canyon, and it is truly a beautiful canyon. And we'll return one of these days. Perhaps tackle that little climb and ascend along the cliffs and then descend right above this dry fall. Quick note, we're out of the canyon now. There are actually two ways over this ridge. One way is the way that we came. And you can see the trail leading up through a little pass there in the ridge. That's the one we took on the way. But guess what? Here is another trail, and it leads up beyond, now a little rockier down there, but it leads through this wash here and then takes a left and goes over the ridge and right into the base of Fall Canyon almost. And the descent from the ridge is more gradual if you take this upper trail, but the wash below that you have to cross is a little bit more rocky. So it's a toss-up, but there are two ways over the ridge. Take your pick. On the way back, I took the high road. On the way, I took the lower road. Okay, heading back to Titus Canyon parking area. And there you have it, Titus Canyon parking area. Not too far from the mouth of Fall Canyon. And the beast today actually made it 3 miles up the Titus Canyon Road, which is pretty remarkable. Hope the tires don't go flat on the way back to Las Vegas. And here we are back at the beast. By the way, for the end of the day, I will show you my my kit, for my emergency kit that I put together in case a tire goes bad, or the battery goes bad in Las Vegas, actually, and in hot areas like this. You can count on your car battery, especially if it's under the hood. Mine's in the back, sheltered, but especially if it's under the hood, you can count on your car battery going bad in about 5 years, within 5 years from when you purchased it. So you'll be out driving and your battery will fail and you're stranded. A way that, especially if you're out here, a way that I get around that is I get a recharger, a jumper kit, which is basically a charged battery with jumper cables, and you keep it charged, and then when your battery does go bad, you can jump it and get to the nearest repair shop. And as far as tires, a lot of cars come without spares, and what I did is I just purchased a spare tire so I can have a real tire. I don't want to drive out of a place like this with a little donut tire. So I have a spare tire, and if your tires are different, the ones in the rear and the ones in the front are normally more narrow. And so if you get a rear tire for your spare, it's not going to work in front. If you get a front tire for your spare, it'll work both in the front and in the rear, and at least get you to the next place where you can repair your flat. So anyway, that's my approach to. By the way, I also have an inflator, a little rechargeable inflator. And this inflator, it's pretty good. You can get them on Amazon or just about anywhere, and you can set the tire pressure and then inflate to that pressure. And if your tire begins to go flat or just gets low and you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's good to have the ability to reinflate your tire. So anyway, that's how I get around with the beast and avoid getting stranded in the middle of nowhere. As you see, this is where I am. As you look at the cars around you, yeah, most of these are four-wheel drive. They've got a higher center than the beast. And so if you've got one of those, then you're probably a lot better off. But with the beast, you definitely need the precautions that I have taken. Okay, let's head back down the 3 miles of Titus Canyon Road.